What's going on, everybody? It's Anthony Modesto Milian. This is Learn Something New Today, a podcast where we intersect entertainment, education, and whatever else I'm thinking about. Today, we have one of the funniest men on the internet, Deante Kyle. He says things that a lot of people think but are too scared to say. I know for me, I'm too scared to say them because Deante don't seem to give a fuck about being canceled. Me, on the other hand, I whatever. But yo, give it up for Deante, one of the funniest men on the internet, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. I'm still getting this thing off the ground running. Um, so tell me, like, bro, everything you say, like, when you get, do you drive trucks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When you be in the truck and you just be like, just going in, that should be mad funny. And it resonates with a lot of people, bro. How did it start?
It's actually started from uh, the normal conversations me and my kid's mom would have. We would just have these like deep, in-depth conversations all the time.
Mhm.
And she said, you do this a lot, but you don't do it on the internet. She was like, why don't you just go on TikTok? She was like, it's people on TikTok doing that. And I said, I was like kind of expressing my frustrations with capitalism. And I don't know, man. It's like that struck a chord with people. It's like there's these things that we're all feeling, but I think that it's like I don't think even people are scared to say it. I think it's like everybody's having fun. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the
Right.
dude in the party like, all of this is being run by you know what I'm saying? You don't want to get into,
You know, the
there's secretly
conspiracy theory.
lizards controlling. You don't want to come off as they do. So
Right.
it's like, but I just like kind of like I don't really rock with social media. Like I'm not an Instagram person. I'm not gonna be on here like taking fit pics and doing all that. It's like I don't resonate with this like highlight reel of life. I feel like I'm working class, I'm blue collar. I talk to real people every day and we have these same conversations no matter and I'm going all across America. And I'm going to like the smallest towns of like 2,500 to big cities. And these working class people are all having these same conversations, and I'm not seeing it reflected online. And I was like, I don't really give a fuck. I'll say something. You know what I mean?
The funniest one that I grew up around a lot of people that were on substance abuse. So when I saw old girl get on the internet with her eyes bugged out, talking about you broke, I was like, oh shit, she's on something. Then I was scrolling and I saw you, and you were like, yo, whenever somebody get on the internet and their eyes is like that, they on that shit. They on that. And I was like, yep, 100%.
Yeah, because my sister is has substance abuse problems, and I've talked about it in the past. So
Mhm.
I know what that looks like. Like when you can see the white above somebody's eyes, they in another dimension. They in another dimension. They operate on a different frequency than the rest of us, you
Right.
know?
Well, they start twitching and they can't sit still, and they doing that, you keep everything, better nail everything fucking down.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, even hide the cutlery,
I
even
did,
if it's just
bro. Let me tell you, I have my sister. I talk about it some. My sister used to be addicted, and I just remember I would leave like my Nintendo 64 at her house, and I would come back to get it. Like I'm talking about 3, 4 hours later, that shit would be gone, gone.
yeah, man. It didn't stand a chance.
Didn't stand a chance. Like, who has it? I don't know. What happened? I didn't even see you bring it here.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
Bro, but
My sister called me like at 1 in the morning. She was like, I need $10 for a cab. I was like, they still got cabs? For one, there's cabs in Winston-Salem. Okay, that's cool. Where are you going that costs $10?
God
And I
only.
was like, I'm gonna send you the $10.
Right.
You know,
You got
whatever ride you finna take, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying?
right, right, right. But you are a hip hop head. Like
For sure.
you are 100% a hip hop head. So in today's climate, and I want to ask you this question because you're seeing a lot of the old school hip hop, like 50 Cent. You see a lot of the people, they're coming out as like staunch Republicans, and like they're aligning themselves with like some of the alt-right type people. how do we like square that hole with like who they were to us and like what they are to the culture today?
I think we got to be realistic about what they really are. 50 Cent is his whole reputation was I sell crack. So like this isn't really like somebody that's community forward. This is somebody that's like basically siphoning resources from the community to fill his own pockets via addiction. And the same thing could be said with Jay-Z. And then you got to think about like when you are in these echo chambers, like the hood, you in the hood, there's a certain mentality that is like really pervasive. So it's like a dog eat dog mentality. When you rise above that and you get into these corporate spaces, you're the one. But now you're amongst people that see the value in you for their own capital, and they're pushing that idea like you're the one, like you don't need this, you don't need. It's about the money. Like look what got you here, and so it's like once we've gotten so far away from like community forward thinking into like this individual thinking, which is like a symptom of capitalism for one, but also like a symptom of survival, where it's like you feel like I'm the only one. So if somebody's coming from selling crack and then they get into the rap game and they get rich off of talking about killing and selling crack, what's that to stop? Okay, well, alcohol is obviously the next step. Creating a drug dealer multiverse on Stars Network is obviously the next step. So it's like, I don't really know if there's any reversal to be done. I think that they're Republicans even when they're in the street.
When they're in the street. It's the mindset. They have the mindset of somebody like that, but they don't. I mean, do you feel like people suppress it when they're in the street, or do you think that that's just really who they've always been?
I don't think they suppress. Well, think about it in the sense of like, you in the street, you got the drug dealers over here, right? And
Mhm.
they're shit. We get money over here. I don't talk to people that ain't getting money. We are sellers. We ain't buyers. We don't mess with junkies. We don't do drugs. Fuck the neighborhood. Like this is where I get money at. So I'll steal. I will kill to keep this block. Everything. And then down the street, you got the Democrats, which is like 5 percenters, Fruit of Islam and stuff. They're for the community and trying to like help not only like represent the community in a more positive light from these Republicans, but also in a sense of like, what can we do to be better? What can we do that's for all of us
Right.
instead of just for some of us? And it's like those same political like mentalities exist throughout all places in America. If you have a warehouse where they like produce whatever the guys that are working the line are likely to be more aligned with like Democrats because it's like we're working class, we're all down here together, and the men upstairs they're controlling everything. So it's like this us versus them mentality, and the same thing goes from the top. It's us versus them. Like they want us to give them handouts, they want to do it, but they don't talk about the handouts they get. So it's like, I mean, they pretty much exist exclusively also off of socialism, bailouts, handouts, um, generational wealth, like assets being passed down and stuff, inheritances, all these things. So they exist in a completely socialist world. It's just not. It's just like it's only good if it's a little bit of us benefiting from that, and not all these. Like, how are we going to feed all these people? And it's like, but you know how to lock all these people up. You know how to get all these people addicted to drugs. So it's like, I think it exists in every space in America. I think just when it's on TV, it has to be represented a certain way.
100% correct. 100% correct. I guess that brings us to our next topic when we talk about representation and how things are represented. How do you feel about the cultural appropriate as a hip hop head yourself? Because you talk about hip hop a lot. How do you feel about like the cultural appropriation of hip hop and hip hop's transformation from being a strictly like black genre, black and then some Latino genre to like this genre that everybody wants to be a part of now? I mean, like for example, Meg The Stallion, she just did a song with a Japanese artist. And then you have people like it seems like hip hop is just becoming this thing where everyone is participating. So how, I mean, like how is that going to change the representation that we see? And then like, what is that? I mean, what does that look like to you?
I don't think it has as much to do with like a cultural significance in total anymore. I think it's a corporate entity now. So, you know, the idea of corporate is like NBA. Like it used to, like 80s, 90s, this is a majority black American run league with a few foreign players from here and there spread throughout. But now it's like, okay, well, people aren't watching TV anymore and things like that. People are consuming media in a different way. We need to spread this thing out. So let's make some start, like let's get some stars from overseas so we have viewership going on over there. And it's like you see that in the NBA, a lot more non-American players are coming over and becoming very prominent in the league. And I think as like the thing is like any industry in this system, if the idea is just profit over everything and it has to keep expanding and keep making profits, then you're gonna eventually like get away from the core of what it is. So I think that real hip hop will always exist in certain pockets, but
Right.
I think that especially as you get more black executives getting up to the top, my idea of this is like, okay, you see like how Dr. Dre, how successful Dr. Dre was for co-signing Eminem.
Mhm.
That took him to a different stratosphere and financially. And so there's this idea of like, okay, this is America's 60% white country. How do we appeal more to that customer base? Well, we have to have people that look like them up there. And you have black executives who back in the day, they weren't co-signing Vanilla Ice and Marky Mark. They don't want nothing to do with that. Like this is gangster rap. These people ain't from where we from. They don't represent us. But now things are a little bit more fluid with the internet, where it's like everybody speaks the same, everybody uses the same lingo. It's like even right now, like that very cute, very demure. It's like that happened 4 days ago, and it's already nauseating because it's like it spreads like wildfire,
Right.
and things don't last as long. And I think, hey, if we can get this white artist that rap black to appeal to this white audience, yeah, of course we'll have the 20% of people over here that's real hip hop. Like this is cultural appropriation, but we're gonna have the 60% of people elated to see themselves in this genre. And let's face it, this is a novelty act. He's not gonna be around for long. So let's just siphon as much money out of him as we can, and then we'll rinse and repeat. We'll move on to the next thing.
True, true. When I used to work in radio, you made an interesting point about hip hop artists and socialism that I wanted to backtrack on track on. And I used to work in radio. I was very surprised by how much nepotism was in was in hip hop. You would see people and they'd be like, "Oh, his mom is so and so, or his brother is so and so," and you see all these people that give their relatives opportunities, and you would never know. And that extends into like the social media space as well, because not only are celebrities getting the opportunities that they're getting by virtue of who they are, but their relatives. Like you'll see so and so's cousin. What's this guy's name? Mahomes. His brother became this huge internet sensation just off the fact that he had proximity to an NFL star.
Right.
It really is interesting to see that come full circle like that, and how nepotism is like in the front. But I wanted to segue into like the next question is like mental health. You know, as two black men, when we go out into this world, especially during this political climate, like how are you navigating social media, the backlash that people give you on social media with your own mental health and like keeping your head on because you have kids, and you have a partner. So like how are you keeping all of that together mentally?
I will say that I like have made an extensive effort to like make my social media mine. It's like this has nothing to do with my family. It has nothing to do with my children. People, frankly, are very weird when it comes to kids, and they form these parasocial relationships. So it's like it's enough that like when I'm going out in public, people are walking up to me, "Hey, how are you doing? Like, I watch your stuff. I love your podcast. That's cool and all, you know." But it's like I don't want it to get to people will do things like, "Aren't you Deante Kyle's son?" And it's like I don't need. anything like that going on. I
Right.
think also it's like I'm gonna say stuff that's gonna piss people off. That's great. It is what it is. Like once I put it out there, I probably tune into it for about an hour or two, and then I just move on because it's like, honestly, it don't really have nothing to do with me after I say what I got to say. Unless I've said something that's like extremely offensive, which I'm smart enough to know how to navigate that. So I never have got caught up in anything where it's like I've just offended an entire group of people because I always think about it like if I'm joking, it's going to be very clear that I'm joking. I'm not going to say something rude and offensive, and then when people mad, I'm like, "Oh, guys, it was a joke." I'm not going to do that. But I think that a lot of stuff is like you have to post and move on. Um, this internet thing is not like you can cut your phone off.
Right.
And I know that it's like a very cliche thing, like, oh, you can just log out. I understand how like negative comments can like plague you mentally and stuff. But ultimately, it's like there's people in your real life every day that love you. They know you. They know you way more deeply and more extensively than these people online do. And you got to rely more on those relationships to how you feel about yourself. I think that I'm 34, so I didn't blow up on the internet until I was 32 years old, and I know who I am by that point. Like I have myself established. I'm not still in this like limbo of like figuring out who I am and what makes me tick, or in a space of trying to impress anybody ever. So it's like I don't need a whole bunch of yes men. I don't have to pander because it's like I know who I am. Everything I say is how I feel. It's based off my lived experience. It's based on my interests. So it's like I'm saying things very matter of fact. I'm not just throwing stuff out there and seeing what sticks. And I think that I see how it does plague young people because when you're younger, you want acceptance and you still navigating. You don't know who you are. You know, you say the wrong thing and like the entire Twitter is on your neck. I can see how that could just be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't envy that person. You know what I mean?
No, right, right,
But
right.
I think a lot of self awareness and like, there is like a sort of edge that me and you have as being like grown men and like established men. Like, if I shut this phone off and I never do this again, I'm going to be fine.
True, true. I think it's really interesting, like you said, there are people that get on the internet to offend entire demographics of people. And it seems to be like as a black person that they automatically go for black people. And
Right.
it's like I feel like no, I not that feel. I know it takes a talentless person to do that. Like that's like the bottom hanging fruit. And I think it's really interesting that the lady who tried that before by saying the N-word, what she say? She said, all my friends are marrying these broke ass niggas or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And like
It fell flat.
the white supremacists caught on to that. She was like, and then they went to her Twitter and they were like, wait a minute, her boyfriends are brown? And she was like, no, that's my ex. Oh, you dated a brown? Like, yo,
Exactly.
they
She didn't
ate
have
her
the
up.
plan like fully developed. She wasn't she
No.
I think that there's a flattery to this, right?
Mhm.
It's not that we're low hanging fruit. It is low hanging fruit on the internet because everybody is anti-black. Like
Right.
throughout cultures, it's pervasive. Like, and we know the history here. We know the history in America in general, North and South, and we understand how anti-blackness is like very rooted in the fabric of these nations, right? But the thing is that we are the people that set things on fire. So even if we create a dance and we create a trend, it can go international. So can our outrage. So it's like we have to understand that it's like these are people who understand that like we're the movers and shakers of things. If I can get on their radar, whether it's pissing them off or them praising me, I might not get the invite to the cookout, but both of those things are just equally as thing. When you see like an old white woman rapping Lil Wayne and people are like, you're invited to the cookout, it's kind of the same thing. It's like just like pining for our attention in a way.
I hate that shit. When somebody does the most fucking mundane thing and somebody's like, oh, they're invited to the cookout. Like, all you did was show a black person human decency. That's
Or
not a
just reverence for their culture is like, that's
like
crazy.
This is normal human fucking behavior. But I feel like our
Hey,
expectations that low that we expect people to like spit in our cup, and then when they don't, we're like, "Oh, you're my best friend." Like, come on now, be
no,
for real.
it's just weird. And it's like we have to like being black, loving being black is great, but there's a certain level of like self-respect that we have to have where it's like we can't be so easily impressed. I like green. Hey, I went to a white Thanksgiving once. I had green bean casserole. Shit was fire.
Right.
But they wasn't like, well, if you like this, come back next time. They was like, it was good. It was nice to meet you, and then we
Right.
kept it pushing. But it's
Right.
like if a white person was to eat some macaroni and cheese and be like, oh, this is great. What? It's like let's relax a little bit,
Let's
all right?
let's calm it down.
Let's calm down, bro. You know what I'm saying? You put a little paprika in there, you put a little Danos on it, and now like you done blown this man mind. He been salt pepper his whole life. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a new experience, but it's like I think that there can be respect and reverence amongst cultures because the thing is, ultimately, black people aren't trying to get any retribution. We really just want to be left alone and respect. That's it.
Right.
And it's like if you would respect us and leave us alone, it would be fine. The difference is like there's no virtue for there's no like there's only like one John Brown. There's no virtue in like really being in allyship with black people. It's all like self-fulfilling shit. So it's like, I think that black people across the diaspora need to be very mindful of like anybody that calls themselves an ally. And I think the trust level should start at zero.
100.
I think we start the trust at 100 and then let it dwindle down. I think trust should start at zero. Like,
Right.
and you know, treating me like a person isn't like you don't get a pat on the back for that. That should be standard.
Right. 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 100% agree. And I like what you said where you said the the allyship a lot of times, and we're seeing that now with a lot of the Palestinian content creators. A lot of them are upset that Black people are voting for Kamala Harris instead of doing what they what some of them want us to do, which is not vote. And it's almost like the allyship is contingent upon like doing what I say. You know what I mean? And Black people are always coming to the rescue of other causes and people with getting nothing, almost nothing in return. Um, so that leads to our next question. With the world being the way it is, where do you see America within the next year? Like as far as culture wise, as far as like politics wise. I mean, again, be yourself. Tell me what you think.
I think we gotta lean all into just fuckery.
Right.
I think we just like let's jump out the parachute, let's jump out the plane, let's forget the parachute, and just understand it like, hey man, we're gonna fall flat, but it's gonna feel great on the way down. So it's like it is what it is. Because the thing is like a politician like Kamala Harris who just answers questions, she just answers them directly. She's articulate, and she's charismatic. She's beautiful. She's still got vitality to her, and she has her flaws and everything like that. But it actually should just be the standard of what politicians are. So it's either going to be that we don't want politicians like fuck them all. Like we can't keep like digging through like straw trying to like find a needle in a haystack. It's either going to be like fuck them all, prove it to me. Like same thing with everything else. Like I feel like American citizens, with your politicians, they start at zero because it's like how many years are we going to watch them just promise things in campaigns and then fulfill nothing? You know what I mean? It's like I think that it's getting to a point now where it's like it's not even about politics. It's just like who supports my personal ideology. That's what I'm going with. Who looks like me? Because it's like the idea of voting for Trump, it doesn't make sense to me. And it wouldn't make sense to me as a poor person, let alone like I could see it as a white person. I can't see it as a poor person, no matter what race you are. I don't see it. So it's like this isn't really about politics. This is just circus. This is WrestleMania. And it's like, I'm gonna pick the baby face or the heel. And Kamala Harris being the baby face is like she's our Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right,
And
right,
then we got the dude Tim Walls, and it's like, he's great on the mic. You know what I mean? It's like it's it's past it's like everything else. And
right,
I think that they've so clearly figured out that all we want to do is be entertained.
right,
So
right,
like enjoy the show. Um, you know, choose your fighter. And then the thing is like if you're not gonna be engaged with your community, if you don't know who your local state representatives are, then it's like you just playing the game for fun. You just out here having fun. You
right,
just want something to talk about. Because it's like we still have the same problems. The economy, you could say it's getting better on TV, but I'm out here in the world. It doesn't look like it's getting any better.
it
I live
does.
in an area that's pretty. I'm seeing more and more people walking the streets. I'm seeing more and more homeless people. I'm seeing more and more people like, hey, I'm paying $2,000 for a two-bedroom apartment, and it's like they're saying it like that's normal. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like people are succumbing to this because this thing doesn't stop with protests and everything else. So it's either like we stop talking and like actually rebel, or we just enjoy the ride, no
right,
matter where it takes us.
right.
And I've
I
like
think Americans
subscribed
are
to like,
really ready to rebel, though. Americans too I know me. I'm too comfortable. Shit.
well, it's we're too comfortable,
Right.
and then we have so many like distinct divisions. We're divided not only race with gender and class and religion and just simple ideologies that like it's like is the earth flat? It's like we have nonsensical arguments. So it's like you really think that you're going to get all of these people from all these different walks of life and all these different ideologies to be like, you know what? Fuck the government. No, it's because it's going to be like, well, who's going to lead the charge? We can't have black people in charge. We know that. All right. Now we're gonna let them do their thing on the internet. But come on, guys, we know what this is about, guys. And it's like, what I'm saying? So it's like, we're all comfortable. And, if you're smart enough, you're intelligent enough, and you set up yourself and up where mobility is your thing, you're gonna be good. And if you poor, you always gonna be angry. And a lot of people that have aspirations to be billionaires, even though like they dad made $75,000 a year. It's just like, it's not the melting pot we thought it was.
Right, right, right.
It's like the melting pot like that kids do when they like mix all the chemicals underneath the sink
You
and
got to
they
throw
like,
it
I
all
made a
away.
potion. Yeah, I made a potion, Dad. It's like, yeah, that's America, bro.
Right, right. So we are running out of time. We got about 10 minutes left, but any last words that you want to throw out there, that you want to talk about, anything that you're passionate about?
What I am passionate about is like really just going down rabbit holes of the stuff that you talk about.
Oh God.
I know so much about Puerto Ricans, bro.
Yo, you know what was crazy? I went there. Well, I went there last year after my dad died to take care of some business for him. And like people recognize me down there. Like I went to a tiny little island off the coast of Puerto Rico called Culebra. And had my car and I stopped to get gas, and the lady at the gas station recognized me. And I was like, yo, that was when I realized, oh shit, the shit that I talk about means something to a lot of people. So I
It
appreciate
means a
you
it
telling me
means a
that.
lot. It means a
Yeah.
lot. I'll tell you, like, you give me my flowers, I'm gonna give you yours. Like to see not only like you found your pocket, and then it's like it seemed like a journey of like a self-discovery at first. It's like, I want to know more about this for myself. And then it seemed like you really just like caught fire and the output, but it's never boring. It's always like in depth. It's very interesting. You talk about it with a lot of like research and conviction. And it's like it gets me interested in it. Like I'm just as interested in you, just how enthusiastic you are about it. But
Man.
also to see how much you've grown. I mean, it's been a sight to watch because I know that I was following you when I think you were only like 50K on TikTok.
Oh,
So
damn.
it's like, you know
Oh,
what I mean? It's
fun.
like yeah, man. It's like and to see how you've navigated it and like you've become, like kind of like a cornerstone in that historical space. It's like great to watch, man. And I love every moment of it, bro. And I
Thank you, man.
appreciate
I
you just for
appreciate it.
having me on.
I appreciate the glaze fest.
Little
I'm just
salt and pepper
pause,
action
pause.
for you, my boy, my boy.
But Deante, it's been a pleasure. How can people find you? Let's talk about you. How can people find you? TikTok, Instagram, your podcast. Let's talk about it. If I'm looking for
Okay,
Deante,
so Instagram, TikTok is Deante underscore Kyle. That's DEANTE underscore Kyle. YouTube is Grits and Eggs Podcast. And then you can find the link to my YouTube in both my Instagram and my TikTok bio. Uh, I'm doing, we're doing all right right now. We just got monetized on YouTube, so that's exciting. And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback. We're going from the bi-weekly show to the weekly show now. So it's going to be a lot more podcasts, a lot more output. So hopefully when your viewers see me, they see me in front of a microphone. I've earned my microphone. I ain't on there just talking about no, but there ain't no 50-50. It ain't no relationship talk over here. We ain't popping balloons. All right.
oh my God.
We
I
talking
wish we
about,
had more time. I would love to talk to you about that because listen, it seemed like every motherfucker with a microphone, the first thing out of their mouth is how much you paying for the date. Oh God, I can't take that shit no more.
yeah, yeah. It's that now that's the real low hanging fruit. It's like,
100%, 100%.
yeah, but
Deante,
Deante Kyle everywhere, man. Thank you for having me on, Ant, man. I really appreciate it.
you're welcome, man. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you.